What is up there, ladies and gentlemen? Thanks for checking out Cinder 88 Gaming. Welcome back to Armored Core 6.
The voices of the coral,
I see them as well.
my family.
If you missed the previous one, well, any of the previous ones, we're making our way through the Fires of Raven ending. We're doing a challenge run in that we're only using the pre-built ACs that you get from completing the arena, and we should be getting pretty close to the end, if my calculations are correct. And I know they are, because this is pre-recorded. Actually, this is going to be the penultimate episode, so we'll have one more episode after this one. Last time we made it down to the Coral Convergence. And so we're going to have a pretty difficult boss fight this time. Oh, it's story time with Walter first.
He abandoned his family to delve into the secrets of Coral.
Mm-hmm.
His work yielded a carnival of horrors, augmentation surgery included. But there was another scientist. He took his colleagues' sins upon himself and set it all ablaze. Died with no regrets. There's a lesson in this story. Once something's alive, it doesn't die easy.
That's not quite where I thought that was going, but okay.
Story time's over. It's time for work.
Alright. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to switch up the AC that we're using. And let's see, who do we want to use? I quite like Cinder Carla. And I also like her AC. But, yeah, we'll use Cinder Carla for this one. Her AC is interesting in that it is missiles only, but missiles only is actually pretty dang strong in this game.
The mausoleum of the sinners who caused the fires of Ibis. The coral's right there, waiting. Arquebus has ordered us to discontinue the survey and hand things over to their own AC squad.
But we don't like Arquebus, so we're not going to do that.
621. We're done with the corporations. Wipe out the Arquebus AC squad and get to the coral first. When this job is over, I'll tell you about the last of my friend's requests.
Yeah, what could go wrong? So I talked a little bit about it before in some of the previous episodes, but I do want to make my way through all three endings on the channel.
Here on out,
But in terms of an actual, like, let's play like we're doing here, I'm only going to do this first ending, and then probably do the other two as more like long plays, so all the way through with no commentary. I already had my plan for the second playthrough, so the second ending. I built an overpowered, like, most American AC you've ever seen, Old Glory, and we're going to curb stomp our way through the game that way. But I did, in fact, come up with a way to make a third playthrough interesting. There's the multiplayer mod, which has come out recently. Recently as the time of recording this, I don't know by the time this gets posted. And I actually recorded a full playthrough of multiplayer going through the campaign. But the catch was that both of us were using Gundam cosplay builds only. So I think that made it a little bit interesting. Mostly UC Gundam, because that's what I like the most. But we're talking Zaku's and gun cannons and Sazabis and new Gundams, so that should be a relatively exciting way to make our way through playthrough 3. But it's going to be a while before that gets posted, just because I want to mix it up a little bit more. Truth be told, it's taken me so long to get through this series that I'm kind of done with Armored Core for now. Although, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this game. But I think the channel could afford to be mixed up a little bit. And due to the saturation of Armored Core 6 content when the game first came out, I know this is certainly not one of the more popular series on my channel. But hey. So you see what I mean about Cinder Carla being quite powerful. The thing is, you have only missiles, but you have the most powerful missile-based weapons in the game. And the AI actually has a reasonable amount of difficulty dealing with missiles. So, oh, this is just bullying at this point. So yeah, we're gonna be just fine, I think. You did.
He was right to bet against Balaam.
And the missiles actually also help with some of the enemies we're going to be facing in a minute.
AC squad has been eliminated.
That should buy us more time. Move out.
I know that we're doing the first ending here, so we're not really getting alternate versions of missions. But one of the things that I found most interesting in this game was the way that when you're doing the different endings, missions play out differently. They were always surprising pretty much every time it happened, which was cool. This being an Armored Core game, though, and specifically a FromSoft game, I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a good ending in this game. They're just different degrees of this thing is good and this thing sucks. Now, you don't have to kill any of these things to complete the mission, but there are some parts down here, and if you're looking to get, you know, S rank or whatever, I believe you have to kill them. But we're going to do it just for completion's sake. Fortunately, these bone wheels, for lack of a better term, they found a way to put bone wheels into Armored Core. The absolute madmen. But these things are pretty weak to missiles, which is helpful. Because there are a lot of them, and they hurt. Alright, well anyways, there's a part down there if you want it, and I believe a combat log as well. But I already have those, so hey. The good news is we do get a resupply before we face the actual boss of this mission. In one of the alternate versions, you do not get a resupply, which makes it quite difficult. But at least we'll be good this time. Although, I don't know that Cinder Carla was exactly the optimal matchup for this boss, but we're not playing through to make optimal matchups. Out of here. Alright. How did you survive that? I am completely impressed by that. Alright, anyways, resupply.
This lake. It's all.
Here we are, 621. Arquebus will be here soon. Investigate.
It's a lot of
before they
coral.
arrive. The coral's
So,
rising.
this is... I don't know if you would say the hardest boss in the game. I don't think that's really accurate. But certainly top 3, maybe top 2.
Raven, I knew Walter was.
Wait, something's coming.
Unidentified machine overhead.
Uh-oh.
A response. It's a sea weapon.
I think that this boss actually looks a lot like the Quebly or Cubely, whatever it is, from Zeta Gundam and Double Zeta Gundam, which is really cool. But does depress me a little bit that we didn't get parts to look like this machine.
Series. Still functional.
However, I'm holding out hope because a lot of the Armored Core games in the past have gotten, like, an expansion. So now that the Elden Ring DLC is out and everything, hopefully that's what they work on next. I would love to see, like, the equivalent of, you know, Last Raven, but for this game instead.
Controlled by Core 2.
Listen up, 621.
Now, I didn't realize until afterwards, because I was just kind of struggling to survive here. This boss is hard. And although powerful, Carla's AC cannot really dodge this AC, or this boss, effectively. But if you want to play this a little bit more optimally than I am, what you should actually be doing, and what I should have actually been doing, is staggering the deployment of the missiles. Rather than firing them all at the same time, you fire one barrage to get the enemy to dodge, and then you fire another barrage. Well, I didn't figure this out till like halfway through the fight, so at the beginning this is going to be a little bit of a struggle. But you'll see that when I actually get the damage going, it is quite ridiculous. The main downside being that I really have a hard time dodging, so you got to read the opponent pretty well, and also just try to do overwhelming damage before you get taken out. Which, as I've spoken of before, is kind of the way that the boss fights in this game go.
Silent.
Although technically possible, and I have seen YouTube videos of people doing like no-hit runs, that's not really intended. It's more like you just deal more damage than the opponent and dodge as best you can. Which certainly makes the game a lot more difficult, a lot more frantic, and at the end of the day, I think a lot more fun for this kind of game. Souls, this is not. There's not a lot of slow and deliberate combat in this game. Get in there, yeah. But given this boss of Phase 2 is just mean-spirited, in my opinion, but what do I know? You know, even not just the design, but down to the, you know, little drones that fly around and stalk you, very much is like new type weaponry from Gundam, you know? Yes! That was a close one. I still maintain that Armored Core 6 is the best Gundam game I've ever played. Although there are some good Gundam games.
Is it over, 621?
Gosh, I hope so.
The choral resonance. It's fading. The machine's resolve, inherited from its creators. Voices from the past, fading into...
Oh look, it's our favorite character.
Losing control.
Damn it. They were once. Target neutralized.
Snail.
Yes, yes. I left the subject alive as instructed. Only a fool would try to outfox Arquebus. I'll see that the unruly dog is punished and brought to heel.
Oh boy.
Oh, and of course, let's not forget the Hound's master either.
I think it's time for the Maoist struggle sessions up in here. Am I allowed to say that? Re-education.
Arquebus seized control of the Coral, and its occupying forces swiftly commandeered the entirety of Institute City.
I don't know who this narrator is supposed to be, by the way.
There, they discovered a wealth of forgotten relics.
Kind of sounds like Chatty,
Experimental
but I think it's
weapons
just supposed to be a
the
nameless
Institute
narrator.
kept secret, fearing they were beyond human control. A group of sea weapons bearing the name of the Central Coral Control System. The Ibis series. Arquebus also claimed a towering coral siphon, abandoned since the fires. The vascular plant. Now,
So yeah, things have not
they
gone
plan
well
to
for
repair
us.
the plant and extend its reach beyond Rubicon's atmosphere. The Liberation Front no longer had the power to stop them. And the fires of war continued to smolder as the end drew near.
Indeed. So this next mission is a little bit of a curveball on your first playthrough. A little bit unexpected.
Raven? I found a
But
message
the AC that we end up piloting in this one, rather than
playing back.
being Gundam-esque, is more like Votoms-esque, if you've ever watched Armored Trooper Votoms.
Mine sent a request.
Another good one, worth checking out if you're into mecha anime.
This one comes from me.
On the more gritty
You know
side,
what
I
hidden
guess.
dangers lurk within the coral. The fires of Ibis should have wiped the coral out. But
In
it's
fact, I would argue that story-wise,
gathered.
Votoms is a little bit closer to the plot of Armored Core 6 than any Gundam would be.
Coral convergence is growing at an
It's got a little bit
exponential
of that
rate.
supernatural element to it.
Eventually, it'll spill out from Rubicon and contaminate space itself. The coral must be burned, 621. Even if that means reigniting the fire that scorched the stars. This isn't an order. It's a legacy. My fallen friends entrusted this duty to me, and now it's my turn to hand it on.
So we're starting to see why this ending is called Fires of Raven.
Feed the fire. Let the last
It is called
cinders
Fires of
burn.
Raven, isn't it? I should probably check that.
I have one last job for you. Find your freedom.
It is called Fires of Raven. See, look at that.
Raven. Now I finally understand what Walter was thinking.
See, if you look at this
This
AC, right?
He
Using
was
all
the
those
human
old
succumb and prepared
parts.
for it.
Doesn't it kind of look like a scope dog from Votoms? I think it does.
Main system activating combat mode.
So yeah, you're given this old, broken down, weak AC on this one.
Some coordinates in the AC systems. He's showing us the way out.
And Walter... Oh yeah, I can't kick with this AC either. Walter left us one last parting gift to help us escape here.
Possible, Raven. I'm afraid this AC is no match for your ability.
Basically implied that at this point Walter is dead.
Let's find a way around them.
I'm not going to take on the Tetrapod. You can if you want. It's actually not necessary for the combat logs. Which to me says that you're not intended to take it out. Although I know somebody who did take it out because he thought that you had to.
Raven, now's our chance. Here's our way back to the surface.
And we're going to struggle
This AC should
even to get out of there if we don't use our propulsion right.
outskirts of the city.
Okay, and we've been spotted.
Raven, the independent mercenary subject to re-education, is on the run. I have direct orders from B2 Snail. Capture Raven and send the fugitive to the factory this time.
You know, I used to like this Pater guy. Not so much anymore.
Use your scanner to evade combat situations. Searchlights. We'll be in trouble if they spot us. Enemy contact. AC.
Okay, well I messed that one up.
Raven, searchlights.
It's Raven! Neutralize the fugitive!
We've got eyes on the independent mark.
Don't hit the...
We're not far from our destination, Raven. Walter's message. Is he gone?
Unidentified AC!
Now we can have a little discussion if we want.
Checked.
Again, this not being a very popular series on my channel. I don't know how many people are even watching at this point. But if you are, we could have a discussion if we really wanted to. What do you think is the good ending of Armored Core 6? Because I would kind of argue that this might be the good ending. In fact, I think I would argue. A lot of people might say ending 2. But we'll get into it a little bit more next time, I guess. But you heard what Walter said. The coral's going to seep out, contaminate everything, and they're basically going to be endless wars over the control of the coral. So,
Enemies detected.
uh-oh. So, I don't know, keeping the coral out there I don't know that I would necessarily consider that a good ending. And I don't think I would consider ending 3, not to spoil anything, to be a good ending. It's more like an end of Evangelion ending. Man, I'm just drawing the mecha anime parallels all over the place in this episode.
Too many of them.
But this game is, despite not being anime styled, it is one heck of an anime tier game.
Tourist, having a little trouble?
Oh, I've never been so happy to see you.
Walter,
That's not true. Every time I see Carla, I'm not happy.
don't mind if I do.
Company! Another AC! Reading. Your AC.
This would be the first time that you saw Cinder Carla in her AC, had I not actually used it myself.
I don't just design weapons, you know. You'll see what I mean.
There's a lot of them, Chief, but they're just
I feel like Carla is the meme where it's like the perfect woman doesn't exist,
RAD.
and then she says that she doesn't just design ACs.
Looks like we're clear.
All right.
Book it before more company shows up.
So yeah, cool mission as far as the story, but actually one of the easier missions in the game, in my opinion.
Once we've caught our breath, let's talk about Walter.
I can do it. I can stay up. Okay. That's like, don't talk to me or my son ever again. That's what that looked like at the end. Oh dear.
Augmented human C4621. Entering
That's me.
standard mode. Incoming comms.
Back in your old AC? You were made for each other.
Carla, I'm literally in your AC.
The fact that you're still alive means that Walter made the right bet. Alright. You deserve to know what we've been fighting for. I'll get you introduced with the next mission.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and switch up the AC again. Ugh, absolutely not. How about Michigan? Why not? Rest in peace. Yeah, he's not really an optimal choice for this mission, but who cares?
Let me tell you a story, tourist.
Everybody wants to tell me stories in this
After the
episode.
fires of Ibis burnt the planet up, a secret organization formed, hiding in the ashes. Overseer, the Association of Observers. They monitored the coral's growth, ready to burn it before the collapse came. That was their mission. Our mission. Me, Walter, and our fallen friends. RAD was always a front. A side hustle. It's time for me to get back to my real work. Let's get down
So
to
yeah,
brass
if you look
tacks.
back at all the events that happened so far,
You've been to Xylem before, right?
that kind of makes sense.
Floating city created
Walter
by the
constantly doing
institution.
missions outside of the corporation
It's hiding a secret.
sort of thing, talking
Something
about
to prepare
doing
against the
favors for his
government
friend,
lies. We need to
how
get
he
to
knew
it
about
fast.
certain things. It all makes sense.
RAD's entire team of hackers is going to be working to take control of Xylem. I want
Insert
you to do
hacker
remarkables
meme here.
when they come running to see what we're up to.
You might recall this is where we turned off all of the radar jammers in a previous mission and took over this tower.
Overseer, the Association of Observers. They want to burn the coral.
Oh yeah, by the way, Air's not too happy about that, because if you recall, she is a consciousness formed by the coral, along with all of her, essentially, friends and family.
Activating combat mode.
So we are going to have to make a choice here, eventually.
Get into position, tourist. It's time. I need you to protect that tower until we've managed to take control.
Once again, I would like to shout out Armored Core 6 for having probably the least offensive defensive missions. I mean, offensive in terms of being horrible, not like in terms of offense. But really, the defend this target missions are not at all painful.
I'm picking up an arquebus MT.
In stark contrast to every other game ever made, pretty much.
Looks like you're up already, tourist. Give him the old RAD welcome.
We have to see this through.
I know what to do.
I'll support you.
Don't let them near the tower, tourist.
So I wouldn't say Michigan was a bad choice for this mission. There's just one part at the end that he has a little bit of trouble with, but it's manageable. Michigan's AC is all about overwhelming firepower, as you might imagine. And I think actually you can save these turrets for later, which probably would have been a better choice, but whatever. We're fine.
4 minutes left. The system is ours, tourist.
Oh, see ya. So yeah, I think at a certain point those like overheat or run out of ammo or something. But whatever. The Gatling gun or minigun or whatever it is, I have found is not that good against enemy ACs, but for trash clearing it's one of the best. And it's not terrible against ACs, provided you have some other option as well.
Escalating to mid-level privileges.
3 more minutes. Hang in there, tourist.
I'm hanging.
Now we've got snipers.
Hey, tourist, go clear them out.
So yeah, this is where things get a little bit trickier. Because they don't really take their time when it comes to shooting the towers. Okay.
Tower shield losing integrity.
I've got high-level access now. 2 more
Relax,
minutes,
we're fine.
Alex.
Wait, we've got something else.
Now, I think I messed this up, but there is a way to do this optimally.
They're playing for keeps. Make sure you
Yeah.
don't miss, tourist.
I messed up. But if you do that with a little bit better timing, you can actually easily block all of those, which I guess I kind of hit it.
Reinforcements. There's a lot of them.
Looks like they're falling over each other to get your autograph.
But if you're not ready
tourist.
for that, it can easily take down the entire shield.
Heavily on LC.
My good old friend, the LC. You knew we weren't going to get out of this without having one of those.
You've been working like a dog. Must be Walter's influence.
Working like a loyal hound, you might say.
Just 1 more minute to go, tourist.
Yeah, that LC doesn't really stand much of a chance against Michigan.
Definition at 50%.
Give me 30
Haven't found
seconds
that
and
weapon
we'll
to be
have full
particularly
weapon
useful, but
access.
hey, we did get a kill with it, so that's all that matters.
No more, tourist.
No, you don't. Two, 1, a 0. Well, that was cool. I wonder what this tower is going to do. I guarantee in your first playthrough you did not see this coming.
Good job holding out, tourist. Now I'll show you what this city really is.
What? It's just an ordinary tower. Or shall we say, it's just an ordinary tower. Oh my goodness!
The water level's falling. No, the whole city's rising.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see that one coming. Anyways, everybody,
Walter for the tip.
we have just about arrived at the end of our episode here. As always, I would like to thank you very much for watching. I mean, we got a little bit left here, but next time will, in fact, be the final episode. So, look forward to that. At which point we will be
Give you the colony
moving on to some other kind of series. However, I do still have plans to do the other 2 endings. And, in fact, I'll be uploading this playthrough. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll be uploading this playthrough as a long play, all the way through, no commentary as well. So, if that suits your fancy, feel free to check that out as well. The entire playthrough, well, I guess we can talk more about this next time, but the entire playthrough took about 5.5 hours, I think. Now, it could have been probably shorter if I was using my own ACs, but too bad.
We need to burn the coral before it's too late. Of course, we can't just walk up to the plant and light a match. No, we're going to need something bigger. A lot bigger.
What did you have in mind?
Figured it out.
Yeah, I think so.
Asylum isn't just our means of reaching the plant. It's a giant powder keg. Plenty to set all that coral off.
Sounds like a plan.
Is that the Observer's plan?
Not to air, though. But sorry, Air. We're doing Fires of Raven this time. Anyways, everybody, like I said, I want to thank you very much for watching. Look forward to next time, where we will be completing the first ending of the game. Until then, take care. God bless.
I believe
And I'm
in the
sorry, Air.
potential of humanity and the coral. Raven, I need to ask you something.